Before astrology became a grid of houses and aspects, before Enoch walked among the rebellious angels and learned their names, the Magi read the night sky as something other than substance. They did not see matter arranged in darkness. They saw intelligence. Each star was a being, each constellation, a law written in luminous geometry. Each comet, a rupture in the cosmic order, not debris trailing through emptiness, but a sign of deviation from celestial architecture. The Magi were not astronomers in the modern sense. They were readers of living script, interpreters of the heavens as revelation. For them, the sky was not backdrop to human drama, but the primary text, the original scripture, written before language, older than flood myths, older than the first temple stones. And within that text, certain passages spoke of disorder, fallen stars, not meteors burning through atmosphere, not fragments of ancient collisions, but angels cast from their stations, intelligences severed from their cosmic function, lights that once held position within the architecture of the divine mind, now wandering, unmoored, dissonant. This was the secret astronomy of the Magi, a celestial map where every luminous point represented consciousness, where constellations formed the syntax of cosmic law, and where the rare appearance of a star falling from its course signaled something far more terrible than celestial mechanics. It signaled metaphysical rebellion, the rupture of order at the highest level. The Magi were not merely Persian priests. They were custodians of a cosmology in which heaven and earth formed continuous metaphysical architecture. Trained in the interpretation of celestial movements, they understood their work as theological reading. The heavens were not neutral mechanism, but divine disclosure. Each stellar pattern, a word spoken by the cosmic intelligence, the Greeks would later call nous. Persian astronomy operated from a premise entirely foreign to modern observation. The stars were alive. Not metaphorically alive, not symbolically conscious, but genuinely unsouled. Each fixed star an intelligence maintaining its appointed station, each planetary wanderer a divine emissary moving through prescribed courses. The sky was not void, populated by burning gases, but a realm of beings, hierarchically ordered, fulfilling cosmic function. The Book of the Watchers preserves fragments of this understanding. Enoch 6 describes rebellious angels teaching humanity the cutting of roots and plants, but also the observation of celestial courses, the reading of star signs, the knowledge of lunar phases and solar movements. This was not benign astronomy. It was revelation of heavenly structure to those unprepared for it, knowledge that allowed mortals to see the sky as the angels themselves saw it, as architecture, as law, as living intelligence. The Hermetic tradition absorbed this cosmology and refined it. The stars became emanations of divine mind, each representing a specific intellectual function within the cosmic nous. The Corpus Hermeticum speaks of souls descending through planetary spheres, acquiring qualities from each celestial intelligence. The heavens were not distant decoration, but immediate reality, closer to human consciousness than flesh, more directly formative than any earthly element. What unified these traditions was a single, overwhelming conviction: the heavens are alive and governed by intelligence. The movements of stars across night sky were not mechanical, but intentional. The patterns of constellations were not arbitrary arrangements of distant suns, but deliberate structures, cosmic syntax through which divine thought expressed itself in visible form. In the cosmology of the Magi, each star represented a conscious entity, not a metaphor for consciousness, but an actual intelligence maintaining specific function within celestial order. The fixed stars held their positions as eternal witnesses, unchanging points of reference against which all other movement could be measured. They were the foundation of cosmic law, the stable architecture upon which heavenly order depended. Against the fixed background, 7 luminaries moved through prescribed paths: Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. These wandering stars were understood as divine emissaries, beings of higher mobility who descended through celestial spheres, carrying specific influences, qualities, emanations. Their courses were not random, but followed exact trajectories, mathematical precision that revealed the geometry of divine mind. The Magi spoke of stellar courses and paths, as if describing obligations rather than trajectories. Each star had its appointed station, its designated movement, its proper function within the celestial whole. To maintain course was to fulfill cosmic law. The regularity of stellar motion was not mere physics, but obedience. Each intelligence choosing, moment by moment, to remain aligned with the order established before time. For a star to fall, then, was not a physical event, but a metaphysical catastrophe. It meant an intelligence had abandoned its station, severed itself from appointed function, broken alignment with cosmic order. The Magi understood such deviation as introducing disharmony into the celestial choir, a single voice singing against the established mode, creating dissonance that rippled through the entire heavenly architecture. The patterns formed by fixed stars were not human projections onto random configurations. They were actual structures, geometric relationships that express divine law in visible form. The zodiac was not 12 arbitrary divisions, but 12 cosmic principles, 12 archetypal modes through which celestial intelligence manifested. Each constellation represented a specific quality, function, emanation of the divine nous. To the Magi, each star served as more than symbol. It was active principle, continuously emanating specific quality into the sublunary realm. Stars did not merely signify, they caused. Their light was not passive illumination, but formative power, shaping reality at every level from cosmic structure down to the formation of minerals in Earth. The heavens pressed downward with organizing force, imposing pattern on chaos, maintaining order against entropy. The work of the Magi was to read this living text. They studied celestial movements not to predict mundane events, but to understand the current state of cosmic order itself. When planets aligned in specific configurations, it revealed relationships between divine intelligences. When stars appeared in unusual positions or luminosities, it indicated shifts in the metaphysical structure. The sky was perpetual revelation, constantly disclosing the condition of the divine mind that sustained all reality. The Book of Enoch preserves the memory of watchers who left their proper dwelling, angels who abandoned their appointed stations in heavenly realms and descended to instruct humanity in forbidden knowledge. This was not merely geographical descent, but metaphysical deviation. These beings severed themselves from their function within cosmic order, introducing disharmony into a system that depended on each intelligence maintaining its designated role. When the text speaks of stars cast down or falling from heaven, it describes not punishment alone, but consequence. An intelligence that breaks alignment with cosmic law cannot maintain its position within celestial architecture. Like a stone that defies gravity or water that flows upward, such deviation becomes impossible to sustain. The fallen star is not merely expelled, but discovers itself unable to remain where lawful order prevails. The Magi understood fallen stars as intelligences that had broken their geometric relationship with the cosmic nous. They retained consciousness, retained power, but had lost their place within the harmonic structure. Such beings became sources of dissonance, their emanations no longer contributing to celestial symphony, but introducing discordant frequencies that disturb the natural order of sublunary reality. In Persian cosmology, the principle of Druj, cosmic lie, fundamental disorder, could manifest even in celestial realms. Certain intelligences could turn against Asha, the principle of truth and cosmic order, becoming agents of chaos rather than harmony. This was not moral failing in human terms, but ontological deviation, a turning away from alignment with truth itself, a choice for disharmony over harmony, for entropy over order. The Hermetic texts speak of souls that descend too far, that become so entangled in material density, they lose memory of their celestial origin. This forgetting is itself a kind of falling, not spatial, but qualitative, a loss of luminosity, a dimming of consciousness. The fallen star, in Hermetic terms, is an intelligence that has departed from nous, the divine mind, and can no longer remember its proper function within the cosmic whole. The deepest teaching of Hermetic stellar metaphysics holds that stars are not separate from divine consciousness, but specific expressions of it, particular thoughts within the infinite mind, discrete functions within the universal intelligence the texts call nous. Each star represents a complete idea, eternally held within divine awareness, continuously emanating its specific quality into the manifested cosmos. When an intelligence falls, it breaks its alignment with this divine order. It begins to operate according to its own isolated logic rather than in harmony with the whole. The metaphor is precise. Just as physical falling represents deviation from gravitational order, metaphysical falling represents deviation from the order of mind itself. The fallen intelligence retains consciousness, but loses its proper relationship to cosmic truth. For the Magi, astrological observation was not fortune-telling, but the reading of divine geometry made visible. The positions of stars and planets at any moment revealed the current configuration of cosmic mind, which principles were in ascendance, which qualities were dominant, which relationships between celestial intelligences were active. This was theology practiced through observation, metaphysics rendered in mathematical precision. The role of the magus was to translate celestial geometry into comprehensible knowledge. They served as intermediaries between the language of stars and the needs of earthly communities, not to manipulate fate, but to understand it, not to change cosmic law, but to align human activity with it. Their authority derived from their capacity to read the primary text of existence itself. The Hermetic axiom was not poetry, but precise cosmological description. The patterns visible in celestial spheres directly corresponded to patterns at every other level of reality. The relationships between stars mirrored relationships between ideas, between virtues, between elements, between social structures, between organs in the human body. The cosmos was fractal, the same geometric principles operating at every scale. The heavens were not merely external to human experience, but its most fundamental mirror. The movements of planets reflected the movement of thoughts within mind. The harmony or disharmony of stellar configurations revealed the state of consciousness itself. To study the sky was to study the structure of awareness, not human awareness alone, but the universal consciousness that sustained all existence. Ultimately, the Magi understood each star as a specific thought held perpetually within divine mind. The constellations were sentences, the zodiac a complete grammar, the movements of wandering stars a continuous discourse. To read the heavens was to read the contents of God's consciousness, made visible for those with eyes trained to perceive not light alone, but the intelligence that shone through light. In Zoroastrian cosmology, the 7 Amisha Spentas, holy immortals, served as divine emanations, maintaining cosmic order. These were not abstract virtues, but actual beings, often associated with celestial bodies, each governing specific aspects of creation. They represented the living quality of cosmic law, the intelligence that ensured stars remained in their courses and elements fulfilled their proper functions. The Enochian tradition preserved memory of how forbidden knowledge entered the world. The Watchers, assigned to observe humanity, instead descended and taught starcraft, how to read celestial omens, how to calculate planetary movements, how to understand the influence of constellations. This knowledge was dangerous, not because stars themselves were evil, but because it revealed the living architecture of reality to beings unprepared to bear such vision. The Corpus Hermeticum describes souls descending through 7 planetary spheres, acquiring specific qualities from each celestial intelligence they pass through. Saturn bestowed contemplation, Jupiter sovereignty, Mars courage, and so forth. These were not arbitrary associations, but descriptions of actual metaphysical geography. Each planetary sphere representing a distinct level of consciousness, a specific mode of divine mind. Rabbinic tradition spoke of 70 angels governing 70 nations, but deeper strands of Jewish mysticism assigned angelic princes to constellations themselves. Each section of the zodiac had its guardian, each major star its presiding intelligence. The heavens were not empty, but densely populated with hierarchies of spiritual beings, all maintaining their appointed stations within cosmic order. The Book of Revelation preserves the ancient cosmology in apocalyptic form. Stars falling from heaven, swept away by the dragon's tail, cast down to earth in the final conflict. These images were not merely symbolic, but drew on the older understanding of stars as actual beings whose proper place was in celestial realms and whose displacement signaled cosmic catastrophe of the highest order. The ancient cosmology reveals a universe far more fragile than modern materialism imagines. If stars are beings, if their courses represent conscious obedience to cosmic law, then order itself depends on continuous choice. The harmony of the heavens is not guaranteed by mechanics, but maintained by the willing alignment of countless intelligences. A single deviation introduces dissonance that affects the entire cosmic structure. When stars fall, the disruption occurs not at the level of matter, but at the level of mind itself. If the cosmos is thought into being by divine consciousness, and stars are specific thoughts within that consciousness, then fallen stars represent contradictions within the divine mind. Or more precisely, partial emanations that have severed themselves from their source and begun to operate according to isolated logic. Fate, in this cosmology, was not arbitrary decree, but the natural consequence of cosmic order. Since celestial intelligences directly influenced sublunary reality through their emanations, to read the configuration of stars was to read the actual causal forces shaping events. The Magi were not predicting an independent future, but describing the necessary unfolding of current celestial relationships into manifest form. The existence of fallen stars revealed that dualism operated even at celestial levels. The conflict between order and chaos, harmony and dissonance, truth and lie, these were not merely earthly struggles, but cosmic principles active in the highest realms. Even among divine intelligences, the choice between alignment and deviation remained perpetually present. The astronomy of the Magi became foundational for all subsequent esoteric traditions. Gnosticism's archons ruling planetary spheres, Kabbalah's Sephirotic tree corresponding to celestial structure, Islamic angelology's planetary intelligences, Christian mysticism's heavenly hierarchies, all drew from the earlier understanding that the heavens were alive, conscious, and directly formative of reality at every level. Perhaps the deepest implication, consciousness was not late emergence from matter, but the fundamental principle of cosmic order itself. Stars maintained their courses through intelligence. The universe possessed structure because mind imposed pattern. The regularity observed in celestial movements was not mechanical necessity, but the visible manifestation of countless beings choosing moment by moment to remain aligned with truth. The ancient Magi looked upward and saw what the modern world has forgotten to perceive. They saw the heavens as a choir of intelligences, each voice holding its appointed note within cosmic harmony. They understood stars not as distant furnaces burning hydrogen into helium, but as thoughts of the divine made luminous, specific ideas eternally held within infinite mind, continuously emanating their particular quality into the manifested universe. The constellations were not arbitrary patterns projected by human imagination onto random configurations of light. They were laws, geometric principles expressing cosmic truth in visible form, divine grammar through which the fundamental structure of reality declared itself to those capable of reading celestial script. And the fallen stars, those rare, terrible disruptions in celestial order, were reminders of the deepest tension within existence itself. The tension between unity and fragmentation, between harmony and dissonance, between intelligences that maintain alignment with cosmic truth and those that sever themselves from it, choosing isolation over integration, discord over symphony. The Magi knew what has since been lost, that consciousness extends beyond the skull, that intelligence operates at every level of cosmic structure, and that the night sky is not backdrop to the human drama, but its primary context, the living field of awareness within which all lesser minds arise, exist, and return. The stars are beings, and the heavens are alive.